Yeah, we'll have a bonus speaker today. I was supposed to present this talk with Joanna, a colleague of mine. Unfortunately, couldn't join us, but Cairo very kindly offered to join me and play Joanna, so please welcome Joanna. She is really the brain of this work, so she deserves to be named and recognized for the work she did on this talk and background work. So thank you again for joining us today. We wanted to present you the results of this work about how we help our project to implement SBOM. And this initiative is really ambitious because our goal is eventually for all of our projects to generate SBOMs for each of their releases so that we can build this registry and reason on all the data that we can gather about their dependencies and vulnerabilities eventually, to eventually be able to answer to questions like what projects and what releases, not only the projects, are impacted by the next Log4Shell.
So, and in that sense, why SBOM matter more than ever here? So we want to, of course, make sure that we are making our security supply better, right? So, and we want to have this security supply, but we want to also be able to respond to the incident. So, and the projects and the organizations that are under us, they can say, am I affected by this vulnerability? But which components of my project are vulnerable? And what are my dependencies that are vulnerable? And where these components are being used by us in our build process, in our tests, whatever, and how many systems are impacted by it. So not only this, but also when this vulnerability was introduced to our project and how we can track that. So not only because that, but the regulatory pressure, right? We have a CRA coming, and we have the US executive order, for example. So no release is created with non-exploited vulnerability in the component. So we want to make sure that we are following that. And the entire structure of the software that the products are producing is documented, and we can prove that when the vulnerabilities reach the project. And the origin of each component is known, and we can track it. And the vendor and customers and security requirements can match that. And in the end of this, we will be compliant as well. We can prove our provenance. Of course, this is at the beginning, but it's the way that we can start well. And what are the requirements for that? We want to, the SBOM are generated and in our previous releases for what we produce. And we want to guarantee this during the build time, not only when we ship it, but when we are building that. Because we know that we have products and projects with multiple versions. And we are aware that even we have the information about the latest version, we know that there are some users that they cannot just jump to the latest one, and they will be able to see in the past or the version that they are using right now if it's affected now. So that's why we want to support multiple versions for the software. And doing this during the build time makes it easy to do the integration when they are building that. So that's, we want to keep the historical information about it.
So our mission, and for those who have been there this morning for the other talk about rapid security reviews, we are not there to impose or to force our projects to do anything. We are there to help them do better security. But given our scale, the scale of the number of projects that we have, number of people that we have to interact with, and the size of the security team, we cannot go and do everything for them. So what is the strategy that we adopted to scale and be able to do that for all of our projects and to help all of our projects? So again, the main goal is to have SBOM for all releases and to have them automatically uploaded and stored in a central registry. So this is this initiative, and we are there to assist.
Yeah. So let's see how big is the problem for a scale for us, right? Well, let's say that we want to generate an SBOM for one product. So first we need to understand the product, right? What is the ecosystem language that they are using, what they are, how they do the versioning, and based on that information, we can design the workflow to generate the SBOM. So we can understand what kind of tooling we can do and how we parse the versions that this specific product is using. Then we can upload it to a registry. And then when we map it, design it, we can go for the implementation of this workflow. And we can decide how we will trigger the workflows and how we will generate and store it in the registry. But let's scale it, right? Because one project can have multiple products in their organization, so we need to do it for all the products. And if we go beyond that, in the Eclipse Foundation, that we have more than 425, right? Projects, imagine scaling it. It will be really, really difficult. So, yeah.
So the challenges are, again, to go and identify all those steps for each of the product that we want to generate SBOM for. And of course, we work with open source projects, and we don't want to impose them anything, and we cannot just go to their repositories, implement the workflows, trigger test releases to try the SBOM generation. So it is really an iterative and a collaboration with the projects to help them do that. We, as a security team, we have absolutely no knowledge or incomplete knowledge of the project specifics, and at the scale, that's really the issue. And also, finally, we are constrained by the availability of the developers. I don't know if you've already done this kind of work with maintainers, but for 99.9999% of them, generating SBOM is not on their roadmap. So the strategy that we've followed is to start small. We've defined a set of requirements, or we've chosen some technologies that we want to use so that it's not a burden for the project to study on them. So we've chosen to generate only CycloneDX SBOM. We've chosen to only go for some ecosystem first, to only focus on GitHub Actions, because most of our projects use GitHub Actions, knowing that we have even more to do, and we had to choose a technology for storing those SBOM, and we've went for the OWASP Dependency-Track. So then, how do we start? By collaborating with a few early adopters, we managed to document how to generate SBOM for some core ecosystems at the Eclipse Foundation, and to set up this SBOM registry with Dependency-Track. So where are we now? Today we have about a dozen of projects of early adopters that work with us, that we've selected because they are representative of the ecosystem that they are developing in. So we have Java, NPM, Python, and another one. So they now generate SBOM for each of their releases and upload them to our registry, so that we can start to see what kind of tooling we can create from that, and we start to gather the data important for further usage. Given that the tool that we used as a registry, the technology that we use as a registry, the Dependency-Track, also analyzes the dependency and is able to report about vulnerabilities for those dependencies. It also provides this added value to the project, that they can easily assess their dependencies and mitigate potential vulnerabilities. So that's where we are at today. And what do we have from resources for our projects, from a resources perspective? So we have defined and worked with projects to create plug-and-play reusable GitHub Action, reusable GitHub workflows, so that the new adopters can easily be onboarded. They can just reuse the template, maybe adapt it to their use case, because every project is a snowflake and has some specific needs. But we have this basis. We also put a big effort in documenting all of that. So we've documented all the tooling that exists for Cyclone DX generation. So there are a bunch of tools, but not the documentation of all those tools is not necessarily targeted for open source maintainers, and we did that. And of course, we documented how to upload the generated SBOM to our registry. And writing documentation is not enough because most of projects actually don't read documentation, so we also did another initiative by creating a training, a live training that we recorded and is available to anybody. Actually, you can watch it even if you're not a committer at the Eclipse Foundation, about how to generate an SBOM with those reusable workflows and how to use the documentation, how to upload the SBOM to the registry.
So, and about the engineering, what we are right now is we have a registry that we are using dependency-track right now, and all the products will be uploading it to this registry to store the SBOMs. And one thing that we did was to simplify also to maintainers and committers how they can visualize their own data, right? So all the products under Eclipse Foundation, they have the Eclipse Foundation account, so they can use the same technology to access this without not adding more complication to the committers and maintainers. And we are using dependency-track using through the GitHub Actions to do the upload, but this really decoupled from the infrastructure. It means that now we are using dependency-track, but in the future, if the Eclipse Foundation decide that there is a better registry for them, the projects don't need to deal with that. This is something that they don't need to handle. So simplifying and keeping the long term of the usage of the SBOMs. So yeah, we choose right now. We are as I mentioned, we are using the dependency-track, but the reason is because we have centralized registry for all the SBOMs, and we can identify vulnerabilities through the field correlation, and we can track also new vulnerabilities if they are disclosed. And we have the REST API that webhooks that do the automation, which makes easy to integrate with GitHub Actions and have all the communication between the building process and uploading the SBOMs. And yeah, and the dependency tree visualization makes it easy for everyone to understand what is going, even without too much a deep knowledge in the SBOMs. And of course, we face some challenge like the access control, but we found the workarounds or solutions to that, and also the token management as well. We're using GitHub Actions to upload that. And as I mentioned before, the good thing is that if there's something better or we can improve, we don't need to rely on the dependency-track. It's vendor agnostic. So, and the products don't need to deal with that. Yeah.
So our future goal is, of course, to expand and to help all of our projects to support this initiative or to follow to generate SBOM and store them in our registry. So we will expand to other ecosystems that we have at the Eclipse Foundation that our projects use. And we don't impose anything from an ecosystem point of view, so we have to follow the trends. And to also expand the playbook, the documentation that we have so that those ecosystems are supported. We already have all this documentation is actually available publicly, so you can go to our GitHub pages, security handbook, where everything about SBOM is described, and also the security training, where the part about the SBOM generation and how to follow this initiative. So this work has been is an investment, or is part of an investment from the Sovereign Tech Fund. The goal of the global investment is to help us build the infrastructure and the foundational technologies to answer to forthcoming regulations. So having the SBOM registry, starting to gather this data to be able to answer to the inevitable questions that we'll have soon is part of the investment. The other part of this investment is to help us build the tooling for an ecosystem that you may know, may have used when you were a student, the Eclipse Desktop IDE. There was no tooling to generate SBOM for this ecosystem, and the other part of this investment is to help us write this tool. So it's ongoing work that it's not presented there, but if you want to know more, feel free to ping us after the talk. We will happily discuss about it. With that said, we're done. If you have any question, I think we have a couple of minutes for that. No question? Okay. Going once, twice. Thank you so much.